שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור. ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה, לדור ודור נגיגו לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. אתה כונן לאדם דת, ומלמד לאנוש בינה, כונן ומתחדע מן המשכל, ברוך אתה אדוני כונן הדעת. השיבנו אבינו לתורתך, וקרבנו מלכנו לעוונותיך, מחזירנו בתשובה שלמה לפניך, ברוך אתה אדוני הרוצה בתשובה. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי מוחל וסולח אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני חנון המרבה לסלוח. רנה ויוננו וריב הריבנו גלינו מעולה למען שמך, כי גואל חזק אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל. רפאנו אדוני ונרפא, הושיענו ונבשע, כי תהילתנו אתה, והלרפואה שלמה לכל מכותינו, כי אל מלך רופא נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני הרופא. Forgot the words. רופא חולי עמו ישראל. Happens to the best of us. ברך עלינו אדוני אלוהינו את השנה הזאת, ואת כל מיני תבואתה לטובה ותמרחה על פני האדמה, ושבענו מטובה וברך שנתנו כשנים הטובות, ברוך אתה אדוני מברך השנים. תקם בשופר גדול על חירותנו, ושנס לקבץ קלויותינו, וקבצנו יחד מרבה כנפות הארץ, ברוך אתה אדוני מקבץ נדחי עמו ישראל. השיבה שובתנו כבראשונה ויועצינו בתחילה, ועצר ממני יגון ונחם עלינו אתה אדוני לבנך בחסד רחמים, וצדקנו במשפט, ברוך אתה אדוני מלך אוהב צדקה ומשפט. ולמלשים אל תיטיב על כל רשעה כרגת עובד, וכל אויביך מהרה יקריתי וזדים מהרה תעקר, ותשבר ותמגר ותכניע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני שובר אויבים ומכניע זדים על הצדיקים והחסידים, ועל זקני עמך בן ישראל, ועל פליטת סופריהם, ועל גרי הצדק, ועלינו ימונה רחמך אדוני אלוהינו. ותן שכר טוב לכל הבטחים בשמך באמת, ושים חלקנו עמהם ולעולם לא נבוש כי בך בטחנו. ברוך אתה אדוני משען ומבטח לצדיקים. ולירושלים ירחם ברחמים תשוב, ותשכון בתוכה כאשר דיברת ובנה אותה בקרוב בימינו בניין עולם, וכיסא דוד מהרה לתוכה תכין. ברוך אתה אדוני בונה ירושלים. את צמח דוד עבדך מהרה תצמיח, וקרנות תרום משועתך, כי לשועתך קיווינו כל היום. ברוך אתה אדוני מצמיח קרן ישועה. שמע קולנו אדוני אלוהינו, חוס ורחם עלינו, וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו, כי אל שומע תפילות ותחנונים אתה. ומלפניך מלכנו ריקם אל תשיבנו, כי אתה שומע תפילת עמך ישראל ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני שומע תפילה, רצה אדוני אלוהינו מעמך ישראל בתפילתם, והשב את עבודה לדביר ביתך, ואישי ישראל לתפילתם מאהבה תקבל ברצון, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך, ותחזינה עינינו מתשובך לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך המלכים לעולם ועד. הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך ואמרמכם כי לא תמו חסדיך מעולם כי הבינו לך, ועל כולם יתברך ויתרומם שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד, וכל החיים יודוך סלע ויהללו את שמך באמת, האל ישועתנו וצרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, כי אתה הוא מלך עד לכל השלום, וטוב עיניך לרתמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. This is a joyous occasion, so we're going to skip ahead to 134 Kaddish Shalem. Yitzkadavi Karashem Mehraba Me'aleman Iberach Hiruteh Ve'amnik Malchuteh Mechayechon Uvyomechon V'chayed Chol Beit Yisrael Bagalav Yisman Kariv Ve'imru Amen Yehesh Mehraba Mevarach Le'alam Lame'amaya Yitbarach V'shabach V'pa'ah V'tuma Minaseh V'tadar, v'taleh, v'talal, shemet kucha, berichu le'ela, mikol mirana v'shirata, tushchata v'nechemata, damira me'alama v'imru, amen, titkabal tzotonu v'tohon nechol Yisrael, kodam avohonim ishmaya, v'imru, amen, yehesh lamara v'amin shemaya, v'chaim aleinu me'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם שלנו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שנוטה שמיים יוסר הארץ. כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו שמחה לעמנו יכיר מעינינו כשמע ידבנו כי לך ידבנו תראו כל שלום ולך כמה חוד שלך יאיר. Repeat after me. Thank you. Kakatuv. This sounds pretty good. Betoratecha. A little better than my congregation. Adonai Imloch. Now watch the downbeat here. I'll give you a cue. Le'olam va'ed. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. All right, on that beat. Here, all together. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. We'll conclude now Kaddish Yatom. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash shemeh rabah, ve'alama divrach yir'uteh, ve'amlich malchuteh, bechayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemeh rabah mevarach le'alam l'alame alamaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, Veit hadar, veit ale, veit halal, shemeh tekudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alama ve'imru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Bruchim tihiu.
I never got those kinds of applause before. Thank you very much. You may be seated. We want to say Yasher Koach to Jake. Thank you for leading our davening. Before we begin this next program, I would like to extend the Cantors Assembly gratitude to Congregation Beth Yeshurun in Houston, Texas, for their generosity in sponsoring this recital, Aryell Cohen and friends, in honor of their new cantor, Rachel Goldman, and in appreciation for the excellent assistance of the CA placement service. I didn't write this, I'm just reading it. So I want to welcome you to what I believe is a historic event. Yes, we're in Los Angeles. Yes, we're being shuttled back and forth. Yes, we're enjoying incredible weather and wonderful learning that's taking place here at our 75th annual convention. But this is a historic occasion because there has never been a recital given at a Cantors Assembly convention by a non-CA member. I want you to think about for the last number of years when we've been doing. Sheldon, I'm looking, and the parliamentarian is saying, well, wait a minute, point of order. We extended an invitation to Aryell Cohen, who has been a dear friend to many of us, to be able to share with us here in Los Angeles the center, the eye of the storm, if you will, the center of musical creativity in the Jewish community in Los Angeles. And Arielle has been instrumental, and I mean that in every way, has been instrumental in bringing his creativity, his craft, his passion, his love to this congregation for almost 50 years as he retires this year. So just one reflection for myself, a personal reflection. I have many memories in this building. The very first one has to do with this ark. So if those of you who may remember, this ark used to be electric. There used to be a button, I understand, that was either over there, am I right, Marcus? I think it was both sides. What happened if they both pushed it at the same time? I don't know. So I'm going back to 1973. In 1973, I was standing in the back row of a group of kids that were graduating from Los Angeles Hebrew High School, Alav Shalom. And somebody pushed me into the ark, and suddenly the ark went like this. That was my first memory of being in this building. 2 years later, Aryell Cohen was hired as the organist music director of Sinai Temple in 1975. 2 years after that, I was hired by Aryell Cohen to be the tenor soloist here at Sinai Temple, a position that I held among all of the other things a young singer does and a young chazan does as he is learning and growing in the community until 1980. I don't even remember now. My wife, 1984, it was until 1984. Arielle has been a collaborator for many of us, an inspiration for all of us. And I call him one of my dearest and longest standing friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Chazanim, I present to you Aryell Cohen and friends.
Good evening, everyone. Bruchim habayim. They'll get to it. The tech people will catch up. They asked me to use this microphone. Thank you, gentlemen. And a special welcome to all of the members of the Cantors Assembly. I am very, very grateful to the CA for this opportunity. Thank you all. Up here, you see a picture of our previous home. We've had 3. This is our 3rd building. Our 2nd building is at 4th in New Hampshire, near downtown LA. It is now a Korean Presbyterian church. I am standing in the balcony in the same place where I sat with my parents in the late 50s. I was 7 years old. They took me to High Holy Day services with them. I did not want to go where the children were. I was really actually afraid of that big building and wanted to sit with them. And they took me up to the balcony to sit with them, and my mother's hand rested on my knee just in case I looked like I was going to speak so she could start to pinch me. And if you can go to the next picture, please. As some of the music started, I just was in awe. And I looked around, and then I went to my mother's ear, and I said, she didn't stop me. And I said, where is that music coming from? Who is doing that singing? Where is that? Roy, may I have the next picture, please? No, there's one in between. There we go. So from where we're seated in the balcony, okay, go back. So where we're seated in the back, this is what this that's what the bima looks like now, and that's what it looked like back then, except where the cross is. Behind that, there is the 10 Commandments. It is still there. They have been very respectful of all of those things in the sanctuary, and they have left them there and have covered them with something else, but they have not disturbed them. So above the bima is the organ loft, the choir loft, and above the balustrade was some more lattice work. We couldn't see them, so I didn't know, where the singers where it was coming from. Fast forward, now you can go to the next picture. Fast forward to 1975, and this next picture is the night that I took over from my predecessor, Erwin Jospe. And this was the quartet at the time. 2 of them, the 2 ladies, Estelle Marlov and Nancy Nash, were of that quartet that I had heard as a child. This quartet was accompanied and conducted by Max Helfman. This is what I came into as a young man of 23. Can you imagine taking over for a man of this stature? It was really quite staggering to me. Now, the first Friday night that we decided to do Max Helfman's Hashkivenu, the soprano soloist got up and she just came around behind me and she put her hand on my shoulder And she pointed to the music and she said, Arielle, this is the part that Max used as an introduction on the bottom of the first page. And then, of course, we launched into Nancy's solo, and that's what it became, was Nancy's solo. This first piece that you're going to hear is by Max Helfman, The Voice of My Beloved. It was originally written in time for a concert that Max Helfman was mounting at the Shrine Auditorium, which at that time was the one largest venue in all of Los Angeles. And as Estelle told it, the ink was barely dry before they had a chance to rehearse it before the concert. Now, the printed version has Marnie Nixon's name at the top as the dedication. The story is that Max Helfman thought that the piece would get a lot more play and would become a lot more popular with her name on it. But it actually was written for Estelle, who sang it very often here. And now we have the opportunity to hear this piece being sung by the fabulous Rachel Goldman Ruiz.
Forward
Next is a short piece, but it packs a punch. Many of you are familiar with the Brandeis collection, all the beautiful art settings that Max Helfman did of so many of those Chalutz era songs, Pugachev, Amiran, Zera, and many others. Maybe what you don't know is that up until he started working at Brandeis with Shlomo Bardin and created the institution that he created there, he had been composing basically for the Yiddish language. And it was really the transition that he made because of what he had been doing at Brandeis that he turned almost exclusively then to Hebrew. So I'm going to bring up a wonderful young man to sing Ki Mitzion, and that's David Childs. Jackie, I know you're here. Like men.
Ki mitzion, hoi tetzei Torah. Ki mitzion, hoi tetzei Torah. Udvar Adonai, Udvar Adonai, Udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Kalalalala, 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 kalalalala. Tulilulile, 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 tulilulile. Hoi, hoi, hora, 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 hora. Ki mitzion, hoi tetzei Torah. Ki mitzion, hoi tetzei Torah. Udvar Adonai, Udvar Adonai, Udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Ki mitzion, hoi.
Mark Lavery was probably most known for the oratorios that he wrote and songs that were lifted for various people to sing from those oratorios. And this occasion is no different. There was a song that came from his oratorio, Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, entitled Shechora Ani. And that was very often sung here. There was a period of time when we did over 50 weddings a year here. And the wall would go up and the bride would come out from behind and with organ accompaniment and all of that. And it was really quite wonderful. And Estelle sang those songs, sang a song before each processional for all those weddings. And Max Helfman rewrote the ending to include a beautiful little flourish at the end, which I hope you will enjoy, sung by Rachel Goldman Ruiz. Next, I'd like to call Cantor Marcus Feldman up. Want to speak first, please?
We had planned on singing the next piece live, but as I mentioned, good old laryngitis right on time for a very important concert. But thankfully, just 3 years ago, we partnered with UCLA and the Lowell Milken Center for American Jewish Music to professionally record many songs of the Sinai archives. And through basically Aryell's direction, we looked at our music library, which had been untouched for 40 years. We took out the original manuscripts and recorded and produced in a beautiful program in this room in May of 2019, some of the most beautiful music that had not been heard around the country. So I also want to say that Aryell Cohen is not only the organist and has been the choir director and music director here for close to 50 years, but he is a true knowledge, a true maven of chazanut, a true mentor, a true friend. And in my 10 years of serving here with him, I cannot imagine a better partner to have gone on this journey. So I want to just say thank you and kol hakavod.
This really is a wonderful setting of the prophetical selection, V'haya bayom hahu. And in it, you'll hear actually two places where he pays homage to Max Helfman, because they were very close and very good friends. I'm sure you'll be able to tell. Up until recent times, to my knowledge, he only taught that composition to 3 people. He taught it to Shelley Merrill, whose copy is the copy that we're using for tonight, Joseph Gole, and Fred O'Bricky. And I had the opportunity to work with Cantor Marcus Feldman and take good time to prepare this composition. I've been very fortunate, and all the time that we've spent together, we've really enjoyed preparing music for worship and for concerts and other programs. So I'm grateful for that. And now we're going to hear, because he can't sing for us tonight, unfortunately, you're going to hear a very good quality recording from the archives that we prepared. And I'd like Roy to play that for you now. there were a lot of people that helped along the way. And one of them was a wonderful, wonderful woman by the name of Lillian Klass. Not long after I started, I went to see her, and we went up to the organ loft, the Hollywood Temple, Israel, and we sat and talked. And I confided in her, and I remember this vividly. I confided in her in some of my trepidation and actually some of my fears. And she came and sat down next to me at the bench and put her arm around me. And she said in her little raspy voice, "Arielle, you'll be just fine." And she sort of shook me and held me. And for those of you who don't know, Lillian Klass was the accompanist to very, very many here in the Los Angeles area back then in the 70s and I think into the 80s. And she played for all of the Cantors Assembly midwinter retreats, the CAWR, the Western region. And when David Kusevitsky was in town, she's the only one who played for him. She is the only one he let near his briefcase, which he didn't carry by its handle. He carried the briefcase under his arm. But he had her confidence. And she wrote this beautiful setting of the 23rd Psalm that she interpreted. And I'm going to ask the wonderful Sandy Bernstein to come and bring that piece alive. I only played it, just give me one more second. I only played it a few times. I played it once for Estelle, and I was astounded when I heard it. I played it for her funeral. Aviva Rosenblum sang at that time for her funeral. I played it for Hannah Waldman as part of our archives. And now you're going to hear Sandy beautifully sing this. The girls used to sing another selection for sisterhood programs and different kinds of things. They sang it as a duet, but it's actually a trio. It's for two sopranos, obligatos for two sopranos, and an alto solo. And it's called Summer Day, Biyom Kaitz. The music is by Safir/Helfman. This was his arrangement of this song for the three voices. On a hot summer's day, when the sun is on high, and the heavens are ablaze like the oven of day, Boer Katanur, the hour when the heart begs for a quiet corner to dream in. Come to me, weary friend. So now I'm going to ask Sandy and Roz Barrick, and Alyssa Pomerantz-Borough to present this lovely composition. I don't know why, but it just seemed natural all of a sudden for me to just stand there. The iconic Shema Kolenu by Max Helfman, written when he was at Brandeis, and the original key of A minor. So you can imagine his supplication And in the course of the composition, the build-up each time. Now, those of you who have never heard me play, you will never hear the Shema Kolenu on organ the way you're going to hear it now, the way I play it for my congregation on Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur. How seriously he took the words, Al tashlichenu le'et zikna. Al, do not. And how many times does he repeat the word do not with that build-up? And for me, that was the tremendous moment in just feeling that from him. And of course, when the first time before I presented this to the congregation myself, the first time, can imagine how much input I had from the quartet, who, of course, had done that composition with him many times. And tonight, again, we have the pleasure of hearing Cantor Rachel Goldman-Ruiz sing this composition. I hope that didn't disappoint. Thank you. Well, we're going to channel a little Molly Pecan now. She was here, actually, and did a one-woman show right here on this bima. Tiniest little lady sat on a stool with her pianist, and she had everybody just in the palm of her hand. And this is one of the things she did, and I'll cherish, I'll never forget it. She gave a little lesson in Yiddish. She asked everybody, how do you say rich in Yiddish? Reich. How do you say richer in Yiddish? Reicher. Now, how do you say filthy rich? Ungestoppt. And so now, abigezint, Roz Barak.
Okay, taking this up a notch here. Feel free to sing along. You all know it. And we all want to be healthy, right? And I'm waiting for it to start. A bisschen Sinn, a bisschen Regen, nach ruhig Ort im Kopf zu legen. A bisschen gesund, kann man glücklich sein. A Schichazok, a kleine Lattes in Keschene, a 3-4 Zlattes, a bisschen kann man glücklich sein. Die Luft ist frei, für jeden gleich. Die Sinn, sie scheint für jeden, einem oder reich. Oh ja, ein bisschen Freude, ein bisschen Lachen, einmal mit Freund das Schnäpsel machen. Aber wie gesinnt kann man glücklich sein. Einer sich das Schieres, einer sich Gewehres, einer meint die ganze Welt. Einer meint das ganze Glück hängt nur ab dem Geld. Sollen alle sichern, sollen alle kriechen, nur ich tracht bei mir. Ich darf das auf Kapures, weil das Glück steht bei meiner Tür. Ui, ein bisschen Sinn, ein bisschen Regen, ruhig Gott den Kopf zu legen. Hab ich gesinnt, kann man glücklich sein. A Schichelzog, a Kleiderlattes, in Kaschene, wie gesinnt, kann man glücklich sein. Die Luft ist frei für jeden gleich, die Sinn, sie scheint für jeden, einem oder reich. Ein bisschen Freude, ein bisschen Lachen, einmal mit Freund das Schnäpsel machen, hab ich gesinnt,
I'd like to bring all of our soloists back out. Sandy, Roz, David, Marcus, Rachel, Alyssa. Who are going to lead us in this last number. We're going to sing Mayor's L'Adore Vador, and I'm going to ask you to sing with us. And before I do, I just want to tell you that he wrote this we started to do it in like 1991. And as Mayor himself has said, from the first time we presented this to the congregation, it took on a life of its own. And everybody just started swaying, and they continue to do that until this very day. What you don't know is that in 1995, we had the organ enhanced. The pipe organ was brought over from our former building, which it was built for in 1925. So the pipe organ part is almost 100 years old. And we had Rogers install a Rogers organ, so it's a hybrid. And at any one time, I'm playing the pipes and the bites at the same time. So the man who installed it, Dr. Robert Tall, taught me how to orchestrate in real time and made some wonderful patches for me that I've continued to use all these years. Now, in all of my years teaching school, I recognize the importance of setting up an audience for their listening experience, the audience meaning my students, in order for them to not get spilkedick and be able to sit through something, so to understand. And so I did the same thing because I was preparing to play L'Adore Vador orchestrated in real time, but I didn't want to surprise the congregation, so I did an unprecedented thing, and I called all of the board members and told them what I was doing and that I was going to be presenting the composition to the congregation that way for the first time that coming Saturday. Now, my father had a wonderful saying that he was the consummate salesman, and he always said, "You never have a second opportunity to make a first impression." I practiced that piece for 3 months before I presented it to the congregation to make sure that it was excellent, if not perfect. And I've been playing it that way ever since. So we're going to lead you, but I'd like you all to stand, embrace each other. And I again want to thank the Cantors Assembly for allowing me to present this music to you and share my sentiments, and I look forward to seeing you at dinner. So now we're going to sing L'Adore Vador by Mayor Finkelstein all together.
How about a big hand for Aryell Cohen? I have to tell you that when we were backstage, Arielle was crying throughout the whole thing and still playing beautifully. Kol hakavod.
Not that one.
Different one. Are we supposed to be One more time for Aryell Cohen.
Thank all of you.
Pick a microphone, any microphone. We need to proceed now. Beautiful, unbelievable evening so far, just the beginning of the evening. We need to proceed directly to Barad Hall. You'll get there by going out the door, turn to the right, and keep going to the right. The caterer is being very patient and waiting for us. Please proceed as quickly as possible.